Hi YouTube, welcome to my literary corner, and for this video I am talking about all Victorian literature I accumulated this month, including the ones well, actually now only one, because I used to have Jane Eyre, but then I gave it to my cousin to read, and I never asked for it back, so I almost actually bought a nice copy of it, like a nice fancy paperback. Fancy as in it had a really cute picture when I went to Books A Million the other day. But I ended up, because I was trying to narrow it down to 3 books. So I ended up not getting that one. Because it's like, sometimes my excuse is because, well, if I've already read it, then I don't need to buy it. So I really only had like 1, maybe 2 Victorian literatures already. And I'm also going to talk about the books, 2 of the non-Victorian literature books that I had just bought today. Okay, so let me share those first. So, if you watched my October wrap-up video, I just literally filmed, so actually I doubt, as I'm filming this video, you've watched it, but maybe by the time you watch this video, you will have watched it. But in that one, I talked about that this month's sale was you buy 1 book, you get the other one free. So if you buy 1 hardback or you buy 1 paperback, you get 1 free. So I decided to buy 1 paperback and 1 hardback, and then I got 2 free. So I got 4 books. I mean, it's like kind of hard to resist the sales that they have every month, unless it's just like something that you're not. Like last month, October sale, I'm a bit picky with my mysteries, so I was like, I didn't want, and that was the sale because it's October, so of course they're gonna sell mysteries. I mean, I get, if they had a Stephen King book, then yeah, maybe I would have got that, because I could pass that off as a mystery, because a lot of his books have a mystery element. Which, segue! So, the 2 of the hardbacks I ended up obtaining are these 2. These 2, if you can see. So this one was on my Amazon wish list. It's Stephen King. And just sometimes, but the way he writes, and the stories, and the characters he creates, even if you originally weren't into the topic, you could, at least for me, I can kind of I could actually get into it. Like, The Dark Half isn't necessarily my kind of book, but I still liked it because it was Stephen King, and just the way he wrote, and the characters he established in that book. So, like I said, this time period, I don't know if I would necessarily get into it, but I do like the concept of the, time travel. It's like there's this guy has building a time machine in his diner, and our main character goes back to the 60s, I think it's the 60s, to the JFK assassination, and he could potentially prevent it. And of course, I'm guessing he probably isn't going to be successful, because it's kind of tricky when you write a book that changes history, like in a fictionalized form. I mean, I guess you talk to these people, the people who have the historical rights to whatever, and it's kind of an alternative version. It could potentially be that, like an alternate. And then the one I got free, the hardback I got free, was this, this is, everyone knows, I don't, like, most people know that for a while, he wrote some novels under the pseudonym of Bachman, but then eventually that pseudonym got exposed. And that's kind of what The Dark Half is about. The main character, Tad Beaumont, is an author who has a pseudonym, a set of books under a pseudonym, and they did really well, commercially really well. But then a journalist found out and tries to expose him, but he ends up exposing himself, and then he ends up stopping and killing off the character. But then the pseudonym or the character itself comes to life, like literally, and starts killing people. But this is a collection of his novels under his pseudonym, which includes Rage, which actually, according from what I've heard it, I think it was Natasha from My Reading Is On, talked about that they took Rage. It's no longer published. But that Rage, for some reason, it's not published anymore. Like, it's not in print or something. So there's no table of contents in this book. I just noticed that. No. Oh wait, oh yeah, okay. So, well, the closest we come to contents is here on the title page, because every book has a title page. So it includes Rage, which, like I said, I think it was Natasha from My Reading Is Odd who said that Rage is no longer in print. The Long Walk, which that for somehow has become either. I think that one has become, a lot of people are reading that one, that has become popular now. And it is one that Emily Fox did a review of that one, and it's one of her favorite Stephen King's. It's kind of a young adult dystopian type with, where these teenage boys, it's like a coming of age. When they come of age, they do this long walk. They have to keep going, and they all eventually, and the only way they are able to eliminate people is eventually they will die and pass it. They won't be able to walk anymore. And there's Road Work. I don't know what I've heard about that one. I've heard all these. And The Running Man, which is one that they made a movie of that one, and I think it was Emily who said that Arnold Schwarzenegger was in that one, I think. Or it might have been Natasha or both. I just remember hearing that they made a movie, and I think it was Arnold Schwarzenegger was the main guy. So it is but sorry, I got a little sidetracked for a second there. But I am very excited that I found this, because, like I said, it has a lot of his, his Bachman books. I've never read any of his Bachman ones, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to buy the individual books, because I've seen The Long Walk. And I guess here's a little bit of a sentence. Rage, a high school show and tell session explodes into a nightmare of evil. The Long Walk, only death can keep you from the finish line, and the ultimate competition for an all too near future. Road Work, what happens when one good and angry man fights back is murder, and then some. The Running Man, in the year 2025, the best men don't run for president, they run for their lives. But I am very happy to have this, especially because it has Rage in it, and Rage is one that's no longer in print. So I thought that's nice. That's cool. And like I said, I didn't know if I wanted to buy the individual books themselves. So those are 2 hardbacks. So I'm showing you those because the other 2 I bought were part of the Victorian literature. So let's get started and show you the Victorian literature I've accumulated. First, I'm showing you the book that I've had, and this is my first Dickens that I've actually physically read, because I feel like, in a way, a lot of people's first Dickens is usually A Christmas Carol, because it's like there are so many adaptations of that story. And, in my case, not only have I seen most of the adaptations, but my dad played The Ghost of Christmas Present in a community theater production of that play. So it's kind of been part of my life. So I had never read the book until one day, when, I started noticing these. Well, okay, so first I started noticing these nice bind-ups at Barnes & Noble that look like old-fashioned books. So I started asking for those for Christmas or birthdays, and it was either my sister or my parents got me the Charles Dickens one. So that one has quite a few of his shorter novels in that one. So that technically was my first physical Victorian literature related book. And I believe it does have this one in it, A Tale of Two Cities. But it is very hard to travel with that one and read it because it's a big book. It's huge. But it's nice. It's very aesthetically pleasing. So it'll be nice to put on display. And my parents, actually, around the time we were getting ready to move, when you're showing your house, you want it to look nice and fancy. So what we ended up doing is we had these built-ins that my dad had made that put on each side of the TV. So my mom asked if she could borrow those books, and if we could put them on the shelf, on those built-in shelves, to make them look, for aesthetically pleasing, make it look nice. So and we used it for that. And I did try to, I've been reading my Jane Austen novels, because sometimes I like having bind-ups, because if there are books that I'm not sure if I want to read them, I want to buy individual copies of those books, because I'm not sure how I feel about them, then bind-ups are nice, because then you have the stories, and you don't have to spend the money on the individual stories, because you'll have them in one thing. So that's what I do with Jane Austen. It is a little harder to read those physically. But anyway, back to this. So this was my first official Dickens that I read of my own accord. Because then in my college literature class, we got to pick books that we did a report on. I think it was a report, something like a report or something. And I chose this one. And this was my first one. And in this one in particular one is about the French Revolution. And it mostly takes place, it goes back and forth between England and France. Our main character is this guy named Sidney Carton. And his friend looks exactly like him. And his friend Charles looks exactly like him. And Charles wants to marry this girl whose father was just released, she just got him out of prison, and she's taking care of him. And Sidney also likes this girl. He's in love with her. But then when Charles and this girl are going to get married, or either they are married, actually I think they are married, Charles kind of gets in trouble with the law, or with the, because he's a revolutionary. I don't remember. I definitely need to reread it. And Sidney, because they look exactly alike, Sidney can take Charles's place. So surprisingly, I remember the plot pretty well. I just don't remember the details, and I don't remember what was going on. But I'm guessing it had to do with the revolution. Actually, I should really read this one. I should start this one. Maybe I should read this one this Christmas. We should go ahead and start this one, because I need to refresh my memory of the plot and read it for a second time to get it better. Because even then, I was still kind of struggling with classics, and they were still kind of new to me, other than what we would study in school. And we read a lot of modern classics. Which actually, during Jennifer Brooks's, one of her videos, I made I guess, I don't remember, but I did sort of make a comment about that, I guess, and she responded and talked about how in her English classes they read a lot of modern literature, so and she's American, so I think we kind of have the same, like, I guess in modern American literature and English, they study a lot of modern literature, modern classics, or, so, which, I think maybe that's why people like the original classics, like Dickens and stuff, because we don't study that in America, you know? We don't study it a lot, because, I guess because it's kind of hard just to read, and sometimes they're really long, but anyway, I'm really looking at it, and I'm thinking, oh, I need to, like, I'm looking at it now, I'm like, I have this urge to read it, like, right now. Not like right now, like, stop a video and read it, but I usually just start it now, looking at it, and sometimes when I'm thinking about it, I feel like I really should do that, because then, if I wait too long, then all of a sudden I'll get sidetracked by another book. But anyway, I want to read it again, because I remember really loving it, but I want to, read it again to, one, make sure I really love it, and I like revolutionary stories. I guess in a way because it's kind of romantic. There's romanticism to the idea of this war, and this guy sacrificing himself for the woman he's in love with and his friend. Which, of course, I should have messaged Jerry, but I don't think she would respond. So that's the only one I actually, and like I said, I also had Jane Eyre, but I gave it to my cousin, so. Anyway. Okay, so basically I'm going to start with my Dickens, then. Okay, so next, I also have Bleak House, which, as you can see, I have started it, but I haven't finished it. It's taken a while. I'm almost tempted to start over with it. And now, the problem with a book like this is it's hard to read when you're traveling. Because, like, for example, the road, I don't like sitting in the back. It makes it hard to read a book this because of the print and everything is still is minuscule. And the writing style is very dense and very old-fashioned, like wordy essentially. So it's hard to. If I did start it, I would have to start it like now before we go anywhere. The good news is I don't think we're going anywhere for Thanksgiving. So I think the only thing I have to worry about that is around Christmas time. I don't know what we're gonna do then, and if we're gonna go somewhere, then I need to ask off like now. Or ask off like after Christmas, because I think that's the plan. I think if we want to go visit family, it's going to be after Christmas. Which means I guess we can't do both. I guess we'll just go to my grandma's house and won't see Jesse this Christmas. I mean, we weren't going to, but what we've done the last couple of years is basically like we're not going to see them on Christmas Day, but we will go visit them after Christmas. But anyway, I have Dickens, which is a very long, dense book, which is very convoluted plot-wise. So much is going on in this book from what I know already. I think it's about a will of a guy that just died. Question. As you can see, I do definitely need to start from the beginning, I think, with this. And from what I remember, there's a girl in the story, this young girl, let me see, her name should be Esther. This is girl Esther, and she's taken in by this chancellor, either a lawyer or the chancellor or whatever, Mr. John Dice. So looking at this, yeah, I almost feel like I need to start from the beginning. I feel bad. I feel guilty doing that, not more from myself, because it's like, the good news, I'm not like it's not like I'm at the halfway point or anything. I'm just like, I mean, it's it's this much, so it's, I guess it's not. But anyway, so I don't really, like I said, I think I do need to start over with this one. And it's probably good that I'm starting with like some of these other ones, like Great Expectations, and I read Oliver Twist. Like, again, I don't think I mentioned in this video, but that's one that Katie Her Books and Things says you should start with Great Expectations. Which, now I'm thinking about, I'm gonna go ahead and show that one. Great Expectations, because she says it because it's written in first person, so there's not as many entangled plots going on. You're just spending time with this one character and seeing things through his eyes. And our main character is Pip. He's this young man who he's an orphan. His parents are dead. He lives with his sister who's married to a blacksmith named Joe. And he's living with them. And when he is living with them, all of a sudden he is approached by a lawyer who says he has received great expectations, as in he has gotten some money, so there is a lot. So he is received, like, there is a lot expected of him now. Now, around the same time that he has inherited this fortune, he has been taken to this rich woman named Miss Havisham has taken him in and kind of showed him, and I don't understand why he's been sent to her. It's, I guess, for the sister to secure their family's reputation and status, even though they're poor. Or I don't entirely understand that part of the plot. Why he got sent to Miss Havisham's. I mean, maybe it's maybe she's. I just thought about the word. I can't think of what the word is. Patron. Maybe she's his patroness or something. Maybe that's what his sister was hoping with this woman. And Miss Havisham introduces him to Estella, this girl who is his age, who is a complete brat. And Miss Havisham is putting them together to make them friends, and then when they get older and they're old enough for marriage age, trying to get them to have a romantic relationship. And Pip suspects that the money he had just recently inherited was from Miss Havisham. Which people have said when they talk about this book, they say that he thinks it's from her. He suspects, and yeah, that is the case. I mean, it does say that he thinks it's from her. So I'm wondering if it's going to turn out it's not going to be from her. So I don't know, but so far this is so good and so much fun. I really like how complex Pip's character is, how flawed he is as a human being. Like, he is easily manipulated by Estella and Miss Havisham. They make him feel bad about his status and how he looks incredibly shabby, and how he is. And then Miss Havisham is able to convince him that even though Estella treats him horribly and is mean to him, is a brat, it makes him feel bad about himself and is constantly berating him, she still is like, love her, you should love her, you're meant to love this girl, and she seems so, yes, she's mean to you and strings you along, but isn't she beautiful? Like, she's constantly whispering in Pip's ear. And I'm at the point in the book, which I already talked about, where's that part where she's whispering in his ear and planting these thoughts and being like, you should love her, and he is easily corrupt, he does. And I feel, and like I said, what I feel like is that maybe the reason why he's so susceptible to her and easily manipulated by these two females is because of his sister. Like, she's so mean to her husband, makes him feel bad about himself, and is mean to Pip. And she's mean to him, to Pip, so it's like, that's the only example of marriage and love and that he has. And I often, every time I talk about this book, I compare it to Oliver Twist and the fact that Pip and Oliver are in similar situations, but Pip is more engaging in character. But again, I stressed that I didn't want good things for Oliver, and I did feel bad for his character, and his character, I didn't hate his character, it was just his character wasn't as engaging. And I was kind of disappointed and very frustrated with the character because he was like too good. Like a goody-goody almost. But definitely recommend this, and if you're starting with Dickens, start with this one. Because it's in first person, so it's easier to read, and there's not as many plots going on. Again, we're just following Pip. The plot is all about him and his story. And there's no plots going on that link, that are like, at some point they'll be linked to Pip's story. You know, but right now they don't feel like it. There's none of that in the story. At least not that I remember, not that I've come across yet. I don't think. But yes, it is. It's very good. Like, Pip is such an interesting character. And it really is about the idea of how being wealthy can really change a person if all of a sudden you inherit wealth. And looking at the lower class versus upper class, like Dickens and Oscar Wilde also write a lot about that. And then the other two Dickens books I have are David Copperfield. This actually has a quote from Dickens, like he says, "Of my books, I like this one the best." Which I don't know really. I mean, I've heard about what it's about, but I don't remember enough to be able to tell you. And by the way, what's great about my edition of Great Expectations is that this edition actually has the original ending, because in the introduction, Dickens is the guy, like, someone talked, the person doing the introduction talked about how Dickens changed at the last minute. He changed his, John Irving. He changed the ending at the last minute. So this has the original ending in it. Let's see. So, sorry, I have the Hallmark Countdown to Christmas is already on, so I have that on, so if you hear that in the background, that's what that is. One of the Hallmark movies. I just love watching those during Christmas time, because even they're super cheesy and cliche, and the endings are always happy and predictable, at least the ones I watch, because there's also the Hallmark's Mystery Channel, and the endings might not be as, well, it's still Christmas, so, although Christmas movies, they probably will be. But anyway, yeah, so I just got distracted by that. Sorry. I probably should have turned off the TV, but I was lazy. So, anyway, I don't know much about this one. I mean, Katie from Books and Things and Kate Howe, also, I think she talked about this one, what this one was about, but I don't remember what they said. But I guess it's this guy's life. This guy, David Copperfield, from when he was, like, great expectations about what his life growing up and stuff, and I think something I got from their descriptions was that he does different jobs and experiences life between the upper and the middle class or something, or lower class. He goes back. But anyway, I don't want to read the back because I've been told, a lot of times the back sometimes can give away things. So, I really like these because they aren't these mass market, even though the print can be kind of small. Again, they're cheaper and easier to travel with. Okay, so the last one, that I have here, that is not a paperback, but it is a Penguin one, is a Little Dorrit. Actually, on my Amazon wish list, I did put some Dickens on that wish list, but which would be awesome if I could get them. I especially want the copy that it has it's this size with the black print, it looks kind of newspaper style. But this Little Dorrit, I don't know much about it, which this is the mini Masterpiece Theater tie-in edition, because Masterpiece Theater on PBS, they do movie versions of these. I don't know much about it. This girl, Amy, it's about how her family is not that well off, or as poverty or something. I don't know. Okay, so next, let's go with, the next fella I have here is Thomas Hardy. Okay, so, I have seen bits and pieces of the Far From the Maddening Crowd movie, with, I still cannot remember the actress's name, but she was in Education. It's the one with the woman who grew up on a farm, she inherits a farm, and all these gentlemen, these guys don't know what to make of her, but all these gentlemen want to marry her. So I saw all these, I've gotten all these at the bookstore. First, there's Tess of the D'Urvilles, which I've seen on a lot of lists, classics to read, although I've heard it's very sad, and I didn't just notice this, but I just noticed that look. I don't like on people, but I heard this is kind of sad. This is Signet Classics. This is usually, a lot of times I come across the Signet Classics a lot. Oh, they have the price right here. So it was $39.95 in the U.S., which is not bad. And then in Canada it's $4.99, which I do believe a lot of times things are more expensive in Canada. But I don't know much about it. Well, like I said, I've heard this one is really sad. And then the other Thomas Hardy books, I got all these from Gibbons / Rostock. So there's the two I got the other day are Jude the Obscure, which is about, because I do read the backs of books, the back description, even though sometimes they can give it away. This is about a guy who is a mason worker, but he has academic ambitions, and the only comfort he has is this woman named Sue Bradhead. She's the only, And then this one is about the Mayor of Castle Ridge. Is about a guy, who's the mayor, who has a very dark past, and he wants to keep that past hidden. And then the last Thomas Hardy that I have is the one one I just bought today. The Return of the Native. Which I didn't read the back of this one, I just grabbed it because it was a Thomas Hardy, and I did not see the ones I was looking for. And I figured, you know what? I've been collecting Thomas Hardy books, so I may as well. I don't know, like I said, I don't know what this is about. I see, like, this guy comes back to his village, his hometown. So, but that's Return of the Native. Okay, so those are the Thomas Hardy books I got. And then, okay, so the next set of books are ones that I don't have. I only have, although I would have had more by this author if I had not got rid of that one book. But these are ones that I only have one book by the author. So the plays of Oscar Wilde, The Importance of Being Earnest, and other plays. So I don't have any other, this is the only one I have by him. I did have, what is it called? The Picture of Dorian Gray and other short novels, but I gave it away because I don't know why. At the time, I was feeling like, I'm never going to read this. It was interesting, but I didn't like it at the time, although I wish I hadn't, because I think now, reading it now, I would have liked it. I would have liked it better. So this one has, like I said, The Importance of Being Earnest, but it also has Lady Windermere's Fan, Salome, A Woman of No Importance, An Ideal Husband, and then The Importance of Being Earnest. A Woman of No Importance was the other group read, and in case this is the Oxford Classics edition. Oh, and then the Thomas Hardy books are, let me show you. Okay, so the Thomas Hardy books are all, with the exception of the Test of D'Urbervilles, the other Thomas Hardy are the Penguin English Library, the ones with the orange spines. Although some of these spines look a little yellow. Like I said, the other one was the Test of D'Urbervilles was the Signet Classics. And then before I tell you the editions of the Dickens ones I just showed you, go ahead and show you this is Middlemarch by George Eliot. This is the only George Eliot I have, and this is a Oxford World Classics edition, and I do have some other Oxford World Classics editions that aren't Victorian literature. And this one is basically about this town of Middlemarch and the people living in this town and their lives, and I think, and one of the people it focuses on is two sisters and their very different lives, and one of them she's kind of like Elizabeth Bennet in personality, and she decides she wants to marry, there's two guys meeting for her affections, but she ends up choosing the priest or whatever, Mr. Casaubon, and she agrees to marry, but then she's starting to realize after they get married and go on their honeymoon that he's not that great, but he's kind of not that great of a guy after all. He kind of ignores her, essentially. And then we don't know what's going on with the other sister, but there's this other, Fred Vincy, who's gone into a lot of legal trouble because of gambling, and so he owes a lot of people debts. So it's really about all these people in this town and their lives, and from what I've heard, but people like Jen from Insert Literary Pun most of these people are not gonna have great lives. Like I said, this is the Oxford World Classics edition, and I have more. I have a few more of these Oxford Classics editions, but I don't have those. I don't have those because they're not Victorian literature. So, like, my copy of my copy of The Count of Monte Cristo is that. Exactly. Is that kind of edition. Oh, and I guess, wait, The Importance of Being Earnest is one of those. So basically, the Oxford World Classics editions have kind of this thing on them. This little rectangle that's either red or purple. Okay, so let me again show you. So all these, like I said, this is the movie tie. This is the Masterpiece Theater tie-in edition, but it also is a Penguin affiliated with Penguin, the Penguin Classics edition. So you can see the little. And then this one is a Penguin Popular Classics edition. Lots of Penguin editions. And then my 3 Bantam Classics, I think, yeah, all these are Bantam Classics editions. And that's another publishing. So these are all Bantam Classics. Okay, so alright, so I have them all over there. I need to. Okay, sorry about that, and I just hit my toe on this thing. Okay, so the rest of these, okay, so this is the D.H. Lawrence Sons of Lovers. I actually got that book from the library, but then I saw it at the bookstore, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna buy it. That way, there's no pressure to get it done quickly. Although sometimes with the library, that pressure is good, because then the book that I wouldn't necessarily, I would take a long time to read. A book that I might take a longer time to read because I'm not as engaged with it at the moment. I might end up that with the library, it kind of forces me to give the book the time it needs, because I know that I'm eventually going to have to return it. So, but at least with then, I can return it with no. But I do believe, I think my first awareness of D.H. Lawrence actually was, which is this considered Victorian? Was because I've seen a D.H. Lawrence book. I don't know if it was this one or a different one in my sister's collection. She has a small collection between her and my brother-in-law. Although my nephews have more books than they do. But anyway, this is, from what I know, this is basically a mother and a son living together. There is a father. He's not dead or anything, but he has more of a relationship with his mom. And she ends up, and they have such a strong bond with each other that he's trying to find, and he admires his mother so much that he's trying to find a wife that is exactly like his mother. I mean, if this was the one, I would hope that my sister has different D.H. Lawrence book, because then I would like to, if I like this one, then if it's not this one that she has, then I would like to read whichever one she has. Okay, so next, and that is a Wordsworth Classics edition, and so far, and actually, this is not my only Wordsworth Classic edition. All of my, the 3 Anthony Trollope books that I bought recently are all Wordsworth Classic editions as well, but I will show you those in a minute. But it seems like the Wordsworth Classic editions have this border, and then the title and the author, and then a certain kind of print. I mean, all editions have some kind of print, special print for that, affiliated with that edition. But they all look like this. Okay, so the next one that I got, that I only have one book by the author now, is I ended up buying a Wilkie Collins book, The Woman in White. This is one of the ones I got from the books from Books A Million, so it was a little more expensive than these other ones. It was more expensive than $2 or $3. I think it's $2 because I think the small mass market paperbacks are $2. And I just watched a video where I think it's a Olive from Book All. I read this one for October, and she did a review on it. Where this man sees a woman dressed in all white, and she looks remarkably like the niece of one of his clerks. So that's what I know. And this is a classic, so a lot of them went just like a lot of my Dickens. No, people only say that you're not used to something because they want you. So this next one is a very special one because it's the only, next to those Barnes & Noble, this is one of my oldest books. So if I do that library shelf book tag, then this will be the answer to the oldest book on my shelf. If we're talking, if the question were about physically older. But as far as oldest as in for how long I've had it, this isn't it. But I have this edition of Vanity Fair. I ended up spending $4 because I liked the look of this edition. I like the look of older books. So this is Vanity Fair by W.H.M. Thackeray. It's a modern library edition. And all I know is it is about these two friends, and one of them is the infamous Becky Sharp. But I don't know other than that. But when I like this one because it looks like it's an older book. It really, literally is an older book. I mean, to the point where the pages are colored. Actually, not like as in purposely colored, but as in faded. And also, I don't know why, but I love the feel of Bible thin pages. Like the library book I have, the copy of the library book I have of the novellas by Edith Wharton which that's one of the ones I was looking for today. I was looking for her books, and they did have at least her 2 novellas, but they're in that collection, so there was no point in me buying because I already read them, and yes, I like them, but I didn't like them that much that I was going to spend the money. I wanted a new one of her novels, one of her longer novels, but it's faded, as it's kind of reddish color, and then this is yellow, so I really like that it's an actual older book, so special, and I definitely hope it becomes a favorite because, it will be, the fact that it's an actual older book, and if the story becomes a favorite of mine, then it will be kind of considered a prized possession in a way. And then the last ones are, like I said, like the D.H. Lawrence novel as far as the brand or the publishing company. We have The Way We Live Now. That's another one I was looking for, which is basically these rich people show up in town. It's about the people around them and how they react to these people that have amassed a great fortune and amassed a fortune in very unscrupulous ways. I hope that's the right word. And there is a movie version of it I know in existence because I've seen the preview for the movie. I've just never watched it. But it's with I cannot think of her name, but she's the actress who plays the ghost of Moaning Myrtle in the Harry Potter movies. She also was the love interest, one of the love interests in the series Hamish Macbeth, one starring Robert Carlyle from Once Upon a Time fame. And I also know the actor who plays the girl's father plays Hercule Poirot, I think, in one of the adaptations of one of Agatha Christie's movies. So he's in this one playing a very different, well, I think it's a very different character. It's The Way We Live Now. And like I said, it is a Wordsworth Classics edition. Like the Dean Schwartz. And then my other two Wordsworth Classic editions are part of the oh my god, so Joanna Trollope is related to Anthony Trollope. She must be his daughter. I saw Joanna Trollope's novels. Or she might be his wife. Or sister or something. I'll have to look that up. But from... it doesn't say... It doesn't say, where is it? Barsetshire series, Barchester, I don't know how to say it. It's part of his series. This is the second one in the series, and this is the fifth one. But I have put the other ones on my Amazon wish list. So that is my accumulation of Victorian literature. That's how I'm going to end the Victober, which although technically I should have filmed this video last night or the day before, but I never got a chance because, work and stuff. And then I decided to go with my parents when their friend was in town out to eat last night. But anyway, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and click subscribe if you have not already, and would love to hear what you are currently reading. So and if you are enjoying that, and I will talk to you all later. Bye!